We dreamed of driving inside of a giant tractor wheel powered by a turbo diesel engine. And so far, we have a frame and rear steer, but today we need to figure out how to make the front steer. And not only that, but we are going to get a sense of what this feels like to drive for the very first time.
I've come up with a plan, more or less, for how to do my fancy pushrod cantilever suspension system. And I figured I'll design it around coilovers and then decide later on whether I want coilovers or air shocks. I'm gonna mount them somewhere like here. Bunch of mounts, bunch of pivot points, some brackets. Onward to the lathe to make the lower shock mounts. Well, I messed that up. I took one pass. The last pass was a little too deep. Oh no. I don't want no wibble wobble like that. So, yeah, I'll just make it shorter and then do it again. One side done. Alright, got it all flipped around, holes drilled all the way through. Now I just gotta tap it. Very satisfying. Nice. Oh,
that looks really cool.
So nice. I have yet to see, granted I'm not in the computer world, but I've yet to see a flash drive that's USB-C. I'm sure they're out there, but I've never seen one, which means they're not common enough to not have a regular USB port on your laptop. So I can't go all the way around the tube, or the bung thing here, because it would run into the shocks here, unless I went in the middle, but that wouldn't be as strong. Cut another one, and I'll find something square and flat to clamp them to, and then tack it, and then test fit. I got these little sanding drums for the drill, and then I realized they probably fit into these little right angle mini die grinders. Man, that is very nice.
Very effective.
It's also nice for taking off the, or not the slag, but the scale off of the cut edges there. Beveling that a little bit so it sits down onto the tube a little bit nicer. Man, that's gonna look cool. I really like how that bracket came out too. It's just simple and clean. Sometimes hexagons are the answer and sometimes they're not. Like that bracket up there, hexagons work great. This one, I tried hexagons. They were just the wrong shape. Sometimes you need triangles. here is a 3/4 bolt from the Humvee suspension. I have a piece of tubing that fits perfectly around said bolt. I have some little chunks of some sort of plastic to use for the bushings, and a chunk of 1 3/4 tube. So I'm gonna cut this to the 1.5 inch that's in between these plates, just to make it look symmetrical, and then make these fit into the ends. And then this part here will be the bit that pivots. Lots of pieces. They're all very simple pieces, but I can't really think of a way to make it with any less pieces. It's just how many there's gotta be.
It's so sad. This is so exposed. You might as well go all out. Huh?
Exactly, that's what I figured. I mean, it doesn't need it at all functionally. Just a regular coilover mounted to the A-arm would be fine.
Yeah.
But, like, just like the chopper, like, you see every part of it. There's no body going on it. It's, yeah.
We should do a detachable boat rack here, and then just back end, and then just launch the mini boat off the back of this thing.
Well, what we need to do is just put a trailer hitch on it and then just have all sorts of attachments.
Yeah.
Should be all the pieces I need for that pivot. Well, except for the brackets I need to cut out.
I still like the idea of putting a wrecker on it too.
Oh, it would look amazing with the crane on it.
So I started with basically the same design as the other bracket, just so they'd look right, and then adjusted it to fit a different size thing in a different spot on the tube. So we'll see if it worked. Well, I was out here on the lathe this morning, getting a head start on some more of the little shock mount shaft things for the cantilever suspension, and the lathe belt is no longer a circle. It's a straight line. That's not what you want. It's actually just a snowmobile belt. So I have another one laying around. See if I can put that on there and get it going again. Well, I got the belt replaced, so that's good. Back in action there. But while I'm doing some lathe maintenance, the engagement for the power feed has not been super engaging lately.
A goose has come to visit. You're not like the other ducks.
That is one silly goose right there.
It really is.
What are you doing here?
I've never seen a goose here.
I mean, I've seen him fly over.
Right.
This is kind of a... This goose doesn't seem to care.
No, he doesn't. I was getting right up to him.
I mean, it's not like these geese are rare. I've just never seen one up here at my place.
Same. That's why I was like, what the heck?
Wait, the belt that I swapped on there was too long. I just swapped out for a shorter one, so now we're good. Also, that new belt, it runs quieter.
It is a little quieter, isn't it?
Yeah. Very nice. We're heading out to pick up a miniature skid steer for an upcoming video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And don't forget to enter to win this truck $20,000 cash, and that bike in the back, head over to grindhardplumbingco.com to get all of the details. This is the bell crank arm thing. Just trying to make it look decent and clear everything. So that's the pivot right here. But as you can see, I placed it very close to everything else. So there's not a lot of extra space. So there's gonna need to be kind of a little tack to that. It's gonna melt those bushings in there. Well, that's okay. They're easy to make and I have plenty more of the material. Look at the colors on that.
That looks nice.
Yeah, pretty. Look at that. Very, very fancy. You know the other really cool thing about push rod suspension like this? You can adjust ride height without changing the stiffness at all.
Oh, true. You can just make that longer or shorter.
Exactly. See if all my guesstimations were adequate. There we go. It's moving a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. What a thing. Now we just do a copy and paste. I realized last time I cut these pieces out of 3/16, and then I'd already cut this one out a quarter, so I guess one side's going to be quarter and one's going to be 3/16, because it'd be silly to waste this. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, putting these little sanding drums in this thing. Works so well for cleaning out holes.
Yeah, it seems super efficient.
Well, and it's just very smooth, and, you know, drill bits don't like it because it's hardened from being plasma cut. And putting this in the drill, it's just too slow to do anything. It's, you know, this little, yeah, look at that. Just like 2 seconds, and it's perfect. Got all the complicated bits made, and I just have to make these two bushings and the little sleeve. Half a day on the lathe later, and got all those parts done. It doesn't look like that much, just 2 of those and that. You know, that sleeve, this sleeve, 2 bushings. It's really just these that take a lot of time because you have to, you know, turn down both ends to a specific and precise measurement, drill all the way through, tap both ends, turn this down to a specific diameter. Yeah. just look at it. It's one of the shinier parts I've made. And that heat discoloration, it's just... It is time to go up to the shipping container and find 2 more of these shocks, because all those ones we have on the wall, none of them are exactly the same as these. They're longer, shorter, different style, whatever. Well, that'll do the trick for now. So now the problem is I need to make another tie rod, and I have plenty of heim joints, but I don't have any more threaded bungs. So this bolt that I wired came with an enormous amount of these nuts, which I believe are 5/8 jam nuts. So what I'm gonna do is just take a couple extra of those, because we have a bajillion of them, and I'll just tack them to a piece of tubing for a temporary push rod solution. Need it to match the other side. And look beefier, because that just looks a little spindly for a push rod, something of this sort. Time for it to be on its own weight.
Entirely on its own weight.
For the first time ever. Man, that's satisfying. Springs are probably a little soft, but that's fine. Those are 175s. If I just put 200s on all 4, that would probably be plenty to stiffen it up. Man. Honestly, though, that's pretty good. Considering it was just 4 random shocks. I have this ram here. It may be the ram I use long term. It may just be a test ram. We will see. It needs to have the ability to pivot in multiple directions. Obviously, it needs to pivot this way, primarily for steering, but it also needs to be able to do this for suspension travel. A problem with doing a singular ram like this is that it steers considerably faster one way than it does the other because of the difference in surface area. I think if I mount this end of the ram at the center point here, and this end right at the end of this suspension link thing, I think that's actually about 8 inches of change, which is what we want because this is an 8-inch stroke ram. Not that I couldn't get a different one, but also that's the most symmetrical and looks the best out of the options. And it's protected from getting hit on rocks and stuff. If it was sticking out the side here, that'd be a great way to just catch it on a rock or something that you're trying to go over. Oh, there we go.
That looks crazy.
It goes considerably farther extension than it does retraction. So that just means I need a shorter distance overall between the rear pivot and the front pivot. We can mount that. We can just like zip tie it inside the wheel, and then I can sit in the seat.
Oh, you'll get to
and
know
steer.
what it feels like.
Yes.
It's so interesting watching the tire like roll backward and forward as you...
Which is grossly exaggerated at the ends of the stroke, right? Like,
Right.
if you look at this whole middle range here, it barely moves at all, right? But if I go left where it goes farther than right, like the last little bit, it moves like a whole bunch.
Oh, that's crazy. Dude, that is freaking crazy. It's very different than the other trikes where you sit inside the wheel.
Ah, yes.
You're right. This might be a nausea-inducing machine. What have you made, Ethan?
A strange machine.
No! This is wild.
I think after driving this, everything else will be boring. While I'm working on stuff at the back end of this, I figured I ought to finish up my diff mount that I started last week. So, design up a bracket for that. Got a nice design here. There's a few points across here that line up, so it's the top of the apex of that circle, that hole, and that circle are all across a line across there, so it should make it fairly easy to bend it at that point. And then I left a line down the middle so that I can add a little brace there if I want to. There's a lot of like up and down potential forces due to the twisting of the diff. So after a test fit, I just need to widen out the holes a smidgen more, and then I also need to take a little more out of this. My guesstimate of clearance was not accurate. Now that we have it all on its own weight, I think these springs are a little bit soft. And the next size up of spring that I have conveniently available is these ones. So these are 250s, these are 325s. So that's a fairly significant jump, but also these ones are pretty much maxed out on preload. So we'll put some stiffer springs on it so it rides a little bit higher. I did do my job correctly in the sense that these on the bump stop are a limiting strap for these and vice versa, meaning that one can't get them out easily. Meaning that they are less likely to die. It rides a little higher, so that's good. Because I think, as it sits, I'm sure it would have been fine, but you give it another 200 pounds of crap back here or 100 pounds with, battery and hydraulic system and fuel tank and all that, and then it probably would have been really saggy. So the other day I found that this temporary engine stand I made for the previous engine in the trike works really well for crushing cams, but now I want to see what it does for just with gravity. New game. How well can you crush a can just by dropping this on it? Wow, that is perfectly straight. It needs one more crush though. That might be the best crush I've ever had on a can. Look at that.
That's pretty nice.
Wait, we'll do it again.
Paper thin.
And that was a tall, skinny can too. Those are the hard ones to crush. Now that that I got this in there. I'm gonna grind off these little nubbins of the former Humvee subframe there, and then do some bracing for that. This bracket looks so weird and face-like. It's kind of like one of those faces on a moth, you know? You know how some moths have like a face?
Right.
Something that looks like a big scary animal on them, on their wings? That's kind of what it looks like. I have so many things.
Oh, okay. And these are just heavier duty.
These are
those are red.
bogey wheels for snowmobiles. By the way, if you need any of these bearings,
Dang, dog.
this is a whole bunch more of those
so
same.
Exciting.
Yeah. So if you ever need any of these things,
Yeah.
this is now the hardware store. This whole box is just full of little tiny hose clamps.
What? Can I have a bag of them?
Dude, you can have.
I just want 2 bags. No, this is a coffee can full.
Merry Christmas, Dave.
Little tiny hose clamps.
And with that last piece in place, the entire Humvee subframe has been replaced. We had steering, we had suspension, it was on its own weight for the first time, so we wanted to take it outside, and then this happened.
Well, things are not going according to plan.
No, we had a trike malfunction, which is purely due to things being tacked and not welded. What happened here is this lower link became detached because, again, just little tacks. You can see on this end, it was just barely tacked together. Well, on that end, it pulled apart due to the hydraulic force of the ram. Weld this back together and then straighten it up and we'll be in business.
Bjorn! Is that you? Is that you? Frederick, look! Is that you?
We got the 3-wolf moon for good luck. Bjorn, come here. You're not gonna like this, but you're the only one who will actually tolerate it, so you're the one that gets to do it. Look at that shirt. Such a cute boy. Bjorn, sit. Yeah! Look at that shirt. Such a cute boy. You're wearing a shirt of yourself. So good.
So not only can you get the luckiest shirt of all time, the 3-dog moon, but every dollar you spend on grindhardplumbingco.com gets you an entry to win this Cummins, $20,000, and an electric pit bike.
Einstein, will you stop attacking your brother? It's not always about you.
Oh, this is gonna be so cool, man. This is gonna be so cool. Feels pretty smooth, man.
We had a pretty serious run-in with this goose and decided to make a whole edit on the Premium Members Club about it. Her name is Sally. You will not believe this story. As part of the Premium Members Club, you get access to videos like this, plus entries for our next giveaway every single month. So check it out on grindhardplumbingco.com.